Hi guys, it's Shayla again from Freckle Finance, and I have a finance video for you guys. I know I haven't been uploading that many finance videos, but please keep in mind, I am new to the US and I have to relearn everything, and I want to make sure that I have like the absolute most details covered and everything, and I really understand it. So I'm not putting out videos on things that I'm not like confident that I fully understand. As well, this video is going to cover a bit of comparison between how it is in the US and how it is in Canada. If you're new to this channel, make sure to click that subscribe button below. I upload videos on personal finance, financial independence, and lifestyle videos. So this video is all about how we plan to save money for our child's college education. And this was a lot more effort than I expected. So if I were to be in Canada, I would have opened up an RESP account, which is similar sort of to the 529 account. One of the biggest differences is that there is a tax penalty for taking out the money for purchases that are not for education. And as far as I can tell and find online, that is not the case for the RESP, as well as there's some government incentive as well for using an RESP that the 529 does not have. So as a Canadian living in the US, I first of all checked to see, can I even get an RESP for my child? And the answer is no. I am not a resident of Canada currently. You know, I'm non-resident, and therefore I cannot get an RESP for my child. And so then I'm like, I guess I'm stuck looking up information on 529s and other forms of education savings plans. So 529 is not the only option that there is for savings plan. It's the only one I ever commonly hear people talk about, but it's not the only one. 529 plan gets way more complicated than in Canada for RESPs. Basically, every state has their own or several plans. You can be prepaying for a specific school, or you can just be saving money. However, a lot of states don't even have very good plans. They have very high fees. The state of California does not have any tax incentive to putting your money into this account. So there's no tax deduction for putting your money into this account. Your money does grow tax-free though, so that is kind of the benefit. So if you are guaranteed for sure your child is going to get an education after high school that will be covered in one of the categories of 529, because not all education can be funded by the 529, then this is the option for you, because you won't have that 10% penalty for withdrawing the money on top of paying your taxes. But if your child doesn't, and you either have to transfer the money to someone else, or you have to take the penalty of 10%, which to me is extremely significant, and it's hard to determine whether growing tax-free is really worth possibly having a 10% hit. So if you're like me and you are not originally from the US and you would potentially have your child go back to your country to get an education, look up, there is a list. I will link down below where the website that I viewed it from. Pretty much every major university in Canada is covered. You can use it as education money. A lot of major European ones. There's tons and tons of non-American universities and colleges that this money can go towards. So it's not strictly in the US, it's not strictly in your state. But definitely see if there's any other tax incentive of any type for a 529 plan in your state. And if not, feel free to go scour and search other states. I will link some references down below, because even some states that have some incentive, the fees associated with the 529 plan are very expensive and probably not even worth it for the tax benefit. So basically, because of the fact that there is a penalty for withdrawing this money and it's 10%, we did not feel comfortable going that route for a education savings plan for our child, because we just don't feel that we can guarantee that our child will go to university, how the university and education system is going to be, you know, in 18 to 20 years or anything like that. So the next education savings plan, and this gives people a lot more control. They're not forced to use a company that charges whatever fees they want and potentially has very limited funds, which is another issue with the 529 plans, is the Roth IRA. One of the biggest issues with a Roth IRA is that at certain income levels, and obviously these are high income levels, people are not able to get a Roth IRA. They can only do a backdoor Roth IRA. And if you're interested, I can do a video explaining what that is. But essentially, there's no benefit for an education savings to even bother with a backdoor IRA. So if you're under the limit for a Roth IRA, then this could be a good option for you. One thing though is that it can only be used to fund education or during your retirement. But it can be used to fund education for you, any of your children, your spouse, that category. But if it doesn't get used, it goes towards your retirement. So if that's kind of how it would work for you and your family, that if the child ends up not going to school, you're not planning on giving them the money and you're going to use it for retirement, it's not a plan, this investment vehicle will work great for you, especially since you can choose whatever investments you want basically within a Roth IRA. However, there are maximums that you can contribute every year, and that's the cutoff point. So at that point, you cannot continue to fund after the maximum you're allowed to put into a Roth IRA, but it can double as one or the other. Just make sure if you're planning on that being education savings for your child, that you also set aside separately money for your retirement. Since we want to have the ability to give our child the money for potentially another purpose, such as a business or who knows what the future holds, we are also not going to go the route of a Roth IRA because it's money for us or education, and we want to be able to give our son money for a specific purpose. So that leaves us with one option left, and that's to just invest like we normally do with no tax benefits towards it. And that's basically where we sit and what we are planning to do at this point. We are just gonna save it within all of our other investments that we invest. I will be keeping a tally of how much is set aside for him in those accounts, and I will keep track of the growth of it so that I know how much is available for him for whatever we decide to use this money for. So the different ways to save for college and university is quite complicated, and I would not be surprised if I did not cover everything fully. So if you have any questions, definitely ask me in the comments down below, and I will make sure to answer your questions, because I was honestly really shocked at just how confusing it is to save for education here, because in Canada it is not this complicated. As well, if there are any Canadians who want me to go much more into detail about how RESPs work, I can also do a separate video on that for you guys as well. And let's give this video a big thumbs up for saving for my child's future. And remember, no matter what your financial situation is, have a great day. Bye.